While the Supreme Court is hearing a plea by Bharti Airtel and Vodafone to extend licenses instead of mandating them to participate in the upcoming auctions, the telecom regulator head Rahul Kullar made it clear extension of licenses is against the government's existing policy.
End of the day, and even when I am not here and I have left, you can ask the telecom operators, they will tell you exactly what I am telling you. This auction will be held. And the chances of getting an extended license or whatever you want, dream on.
And ahead of those telecom auctions, Bharti Enterprises Vice Chairman Akhil Gupta once again made a pitch for more spectrum to be put up for auction. Remember, the Department of Telecommunications is in talks with the Defence Ministry to vacate as much as 15 megahertz of 3G spectrum for auction.
Countries like India will be short of a spectrum. They do need to come out with technologies where, despite limitations of physics, they are able to provide maximum possible capacities with limited spectrum. And finally, I think what we need is a huge collaboration and trust between the government, between the regulatory authorities and the industry.
Bharti Enterprises making a case for more spectrum. Indian corporate houses not equipped to handle frauds. That's the rather alarming word coming in from Deloitte India, especially when you consider the fact that instances of fraud only set to rise over the next 2 years. Prerna Barua and Arvind Sukumar have that story.
Whether it's a company that occupies a couple of floors in a swanky building like this one, or smaller establishments without the fancy digs, corporate India is just not ready to fight off fraud, not even in its traditional forms like bribery, corruption and theft. Surprisingly, not many firms have even basic systems in place to identify themselves as victims of fraud, let alone prevent such attacks. Of 400 companies surveyed by Deloitte India, only 3% said they suffered fraud losses of over 10 crore rupees. About 38% said they had suffered no losses whatsoever, and 23% said they were unable to quantify the losses due to fraud. This is more alarming when you consider that, as per the latest report by the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, companies lose on average 5% of revenues due to fraud. No surprise then that the Deloitte survey showed that nearly 56% of the respondents believe instances of fraud will only rise over the next 2 years.
As per the responses received from the survey, it appears that corporations in India still look at fraud risk management as a cost rather than as an investment. With the Companies Act coming in, I think what's happening is fraud risk management is being looked at as more as proactive rather than reactive.
One big reason for this, the survey found, was that corporate houses view compliance with provisions in the new Companies Act related to fraud risk management as a cost rather than an investment that will drive business growth. Also, most companies were unaware of the new age risk their businesses face. For instance, 69% of the respondents were unsure about the risk from social media fraud, 60% felt e-commerce was not risky and did not have comprehensive processes to mitigate this fraud, and 57% were unaware of any review of compliance and security policies pertaining to cloud computing.
As there is significant use or more use of social media, cloud computing and online business, right, there will be a realization of the fact that there are exposures to fraud risk, and the nature of frauds will be very different from what the companies have been exposed to till now.
Corporate India clearly has its work cut out for it, especially given that the new Companies Act not only defines the term fraud for the first time, it also extensively deals with penalizing such fraudulent activity, including pulling up not just the company but also senior management for lapses in security protocols. In Mumbai, with Prerna Barua, Arvind Sukumar.
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Business Hour. Thanks for watching.
CNBC TV.